have their.
Meeting to order. The Municipality of Oakland-Wawanesa would like to acknowledge and recognize that we are operating on Treaty 1 and Treaty 2 lands, being the original territory of the Anishinaabe and the Dakota Nations and the homeland of the Métis Nation. Start with the adoption of the agenda. Be resolved that the agenda for the February 20th, 24 meeting be accepted as presented with the additional compensation request under in-camera session. Want me to move that, please? Councillor Fisher, second. Councillor Jones. All in favor?
In favor.
Be resolved that the minutes of the January 19th, 2024 regular meeting council be hereby approved as circulated. I'm going to move that. Councillor McDonald, second, or Councillor McGregor. Any errors or omissions? All in favor?
In favor.
Be resolved that the February 12th, 2024 general accounts payable being check number 7059 to 7081 and 7083 to 7092, 7094 to 7123, and 7125 to 7127, and one man in the amount of $197,495.83 be accepted or be approved, rather. I would move that. Councillor McGregor, seconder. Councillor Fisher. Councillor Fisher. Discussion? All in favor?
In favor.
Oh, I gotta leave again. Talking about.
Close the door behind you, please. Be resolved that general accounts payables being check number 7082, 7093, and 7124 payable to Guild Insurance, Mike Fisher and Guild Insurance respectively, in the amount of $19,216.95 be hereby approved. I'm going to move that. Councillor Jones, seconder. Councillor McDonald, discussion. All in favor?
In favor.
Be resolved that direct deposit 302 being staff payroll for the period January 8th to January 19th, 2024, in the amount of $12,294.39 be hereby approved. I'm going to move that, please. Councillor Jones, second. Councillor McGregor, discussion. All in favor?
In favor.
Be resolved that direct deposit 303 being staff payroll for the period January 22nd to February 2nd, 2024, in the amount of $12,634.05 be hereby approved. Somebody please move that. Councillor McDonald, seconder. Councillor Jones, discussion. All in favor?
In favor.
Be it resolved that direct deposit 305 being staff payroll for the period February 5th to February 16, 2024, in the amount of $12,391.13 be hereby approved. I would move that. Councillor McDonald, seconder. Councillor McGregor, discussion. All in favor?
In favor.
Be it resolved that direct deposit 304 being council indemnities for the month of January 2024 in the amount of $6,992.26 be hereby approved. I'm going to move that. Councillor seconder, Councillor Jones, discussion. All in favor?
In favor.
Be it resolved that February 12th, 2024 utility accounts payable being checks number 1113 to 1131 in the amount of $18,395.10 be hereby approved. Move that. Councillor McGregor, second. Councillor Fisher, discussion. In favor? All in
In
favor?
favor.
Be it resolved that the statement of revenue and expenditures report to January 31st, 2024 be received as presented. Move that. Councillor Jones, second. Councillor McDonald, discussion. All in favor?
In favor.
Bank reconciliations be resolved that the bank reconciliation for the month of January 2024 be approved as previously circulated. I'm going to move that. Councillor McDonald, second. Councillor McGregor, discussion. All in favor?
In favor.
So we are at delegations, if you wish to.
Okay, Mr. Kennedy.
Many familiar faces. Thanks for having me. I think we're how many years into this? 3 or 4 years into this. So it's been for RF now. This was our first municipal deal that we did. It's actually used as a template. There's no other RM in Canada that we can find, or that I said can find, that has over 50% market penetration in a rural municipality, outside of town. So it's an interesting one because we watched governments for a long time fund wireless connectivity over and over again. Manitoba itself, I think, has got awarded over $40 million in wireless money over the years. And every 5 years you need new money to do it. So this is a long-term solution that has been a trailblazer. We're working with the federal government on doing this in Saskatchewan as well. We use this as a template, as I said, over and over again. But Oakland-Wawanesa is the farthest along, obviously, and I shared a map that you'll have in your package there. There's still a few lines missing. You see some red dots that don't have lines to them there. But out of the 390 rural residences, and I made that a round number, it could be 5 more or less. It's 221 live clients, 13 left to install, and there's a few of those that actually have connections in their home currently. And then there's 5 more pending signatures. So that leaves 150 households that don't have the service, or we haven't talked to in depth. And I think the big one for us is we're working with Joni we're going to come and send a business development rep to go through the maps and figure out who hasn't signed up and why, and what we can do to try to get them. Because as you can see with those lines that are everywhere, we've probably passed many of them. So it's actually an easier install to come back and get to them now. So we got to find and get a hold of them, and we're gonna do that soonest. I think it's arranged at this point. But a few other things that we're doing. There's some significant changes at RF. We're upgrading our entire network as we speak to 100 gig backbone. So we're currently giving 300 and 300 service to farms and acreages. That will be 2.5 gigs will be available to them by the end of this year. Many won't need that, or many won't, but we're upgrading our systems to get ready for that. Just who knows what's next. And Mike, you can teleport here instead of driving. But I think the next part is we're adding a TV product. So if you have our fiber product, you can get our TV product. And I think for many of your rural residents that have TV currently, it'll be a more cost-effective purchase for them. Probably a Shaw dish is what they have currently. We know the prices of that. It could be $100, $150 somewhere in there, depending on the packages, and we'll be very very competitive in that space. And as well as we're adding a new phone product. Home phones not used a lot, but in rural it is still. I think there's young kids that you need it at the farm, or you need it wherever it is. And then the last one we've been doing significant investments on is farm area networks, we call them. So there's now routers that can actually do a mile radius. So for your farm, for your farmstead, and today, as we know, everything's going that way, where you need it for it's combining, or it's your barn, or it's your shed, or whatever it is. So we're working on these farm area networks that we've been doing them to a point, but I would say that the new technology is going to allow for a different step where these farms need this now, and it's not an if, it's a must.
Chris, can that be used for security cameras?
Absolutely. So that's we've partnered with there's 3 companies we're partnering with, 2 in Saskatchewan and Manitoba. So there's lots of people out there doing this, going to farms and selling security cameras and so on. And the connectivity is usually the hard part. But absolutely, yeah, the connectivity is usually the hard part. So we're trying to do a better job of working with people, not just getting the fiber to their home and then life's good, that's not it. Usually on a lot of these acreages and farms, they need security cameras, they need something else. And RF's not going to get into the business of selling the cameras themselves, just it's a whole other, we'll leave that for those, but we're partnering with some of them that we can work together to bring that. And whether it's grain bin monitoring, getting fiber to those spots, or it's security cameras, or the new technology in feed, right? There's some of those barns now that it's all electronic, so it's trouble if your connectivity doesn't work. So I wanted to come and talk a little bit about that. That's kind of the update from our end, and we're certainly continuing to be excited, and I think we need to go find who's left and talk to them about why they're not interested and what we can do to get them interested. And as you can see, I think RF's over $2 million in investment in the RM as of this point. I think when we first met, everything's a mile of fiber is twice as expensive as it was when we first met, which is life for everybody. I know everybody's going through the same thing, but so yeah, like I said, I think if the overall, we looked at it, what's left, if the 150 all did sign up, there's probably another $1 million plus of investment left to do, but it's a great investment for RF to do. So happy to take any questions.
Do you have a timeline for the TV? Because I know that is one question I get quite often.
Yeah, so we're testing it right now. We've picked a product,
Okay.
and so we've actually 10 of our staff have it right now. So we've picked the right product. We're just testing it within our network. So Q2 probably is the hope right now, but this year for sure. And with all those things come a new thing you don't know, but we've hired a new TV manager, and our tests have been going positive so far. So it's different when you get the mass though, right? You do 10, and then you do 1,000, maybe 5,000, and run into what you run into. But this year, but Q2 is our goal to start launching it.
Yeah, so any questions?
Oh, Mr. Chairman, through question, like there's 13 left to be signed up. Any idea when it would be? Like it was to be done within the 3 years, right?
Yeah, so many of these signups, all but two, that I'm sure is in people's head of who those two people are, but one of them's actually hooked up as of today. I think they don't want the service anymore, but so it'll be it. But so the 13 aren't people that signed up 3 years ago. Most of them are people that have continued to sign up, and we're going to continue to see them sign up. So what was in the contract is 90% of all people that signed up in that year would be connected, and I think it's more like 97%. It's really those few outliers. But as you can see from the map, there's just not really many places to be an outlier anymore. So, and that's another part of trying to. So this year, they'll all be, anyone that signed up as of now will be hooked up this year in the construction season. But we want to find a lot more that are along those lines and off them.
I know we had some issues with or complaints with the way things were being left after Bruce came through. I haven't heard anything on that for a while. I don't know if that's resolved or if that's still an issue.
Yeah, and Joni's good with that. She sends us all the notes of who's upset or who's not, and we try to send people back and just keep sending them, like if there's any issues out there. And with the construction methods, there are plows going through the ditch, so there will be stuff. And as much as we want to make sure it's good, just keep, if there's something you find the next spring or it could be a culvert that's got bent and something like that, just send it to us and we'll come back and help out. But we don't want that, but it happens, and just contact us and let us know and we'll come back. Sometimes it's not us either. Yeah. Sometimes we were just around a year ago and the culvert happens to be broken and Mike ran over it with his tractor. So what we're trying to do to make that better, Brett, is we're taking pictures before and after. Just because, when we were really small and only, a few RMs, everybody knew everybody, and now we try to take a picture of all the culverts after we leave. And because again, if you were there 2 years ago, the last guy that was seen there, it's usually their fault. So we're trying to take before and after and just to cover everybody that, and then I always know if we don't have the after picture when Joe contacts us, that we probably did something wrong. Somebody forgot to take the pictures and we'll come back and fix it.
Is there any severe disruptions, service disruptions at all?
Yeah, this weekend, there was, so we're doing significant upgrades, which is, we're changing equipment and so on. With that comes, our uptime is 99.7%. And, this weekend will change that depending on what 99%, but our yearly upkeep is 99.7, which is, I live in Brandon. I've tried both Bell and Westman numerous times, and it's not that. And if you look at the industry standards, we're right there or above it. I would say that Oakland-Wawanesa, we're building a new network operations center near Brandon, and you guys are starting to be surrounded by network operations centers. So as more and more of those come, it doesn't matter if the fiber's cut going north, south, you can switch to a different one. So, there's the 9net one. And then we're putting another West Hartney as well. So you guys can actually come off of all of those. So network interruptions themselves based off of fiber cuts or so on. Sometimes technology is technology when you're upgrading. So there'll be those blips because of that. But when it comes down to the actual hardware, you guys are in a good spot in the middle of a lot of network operation centers.
Any further? Councilors? Well, thanks very much, Chris.
No, thank you, and we really appreciate it. It's been an exciting deal, and like I said, we speak well of you, and people know what's going on, because like I said, there's just not an RM cover like this in the country so far. So keep going.
Good.
Thank you.
Question.
Well, this is the council meeting, so when you come up here, you can come up separately.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If you want to talk about that, I can talk to you. Yeah, good, yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Councilor Rome, next time, up to the chair, please. Resulted presentation of our now an update on fiber optic has been received. Somebody move that. Rebel, second, Councilor Jones. All in favor?
In favor.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Communications.
Good.
Okay, switch your hand. We could do that.
Oh, she's coming back. Okay, who's working?
I'm sorry. It's a very important question regarding our seniors. So it's such a wonderful service. Okay, good morning. Head of Council, Chief Administrative Officer, and council members. Today I'm speaking on the age of acceleration, the digital connections while ensuing vitality of democracy. When attending my studies at Harvard University, I came across a quote that still resonates with me to this very day. Herbert Benson once said, "We can either change the complexities of life or we develop ways that enable us to cope more effectively. By throwing money at a problem doesn't make it go away, but creates a recipe for disaster." He mentioned a possible increase of our taxes at approximately 4.9 to 5%, citing that city reference 9%, and we are lucky, but neglected to inform us that Brandon has not had an increase in taxation for the past 8 years. We have had increases in levies during this period. The discussion evolving around the hire of a communications officer to reduce workload would cost taxpayers, when truly this is an opportunity to complete an audit of need, identify a rationale for the volume of communications, and the consideration of workplace organizational functioning needs to be considered before any such hire is considered. We know there are lingering effects of the pandemic. This reminds me of the frog in boiling water psychology. If you place a frog in warm water and gradually boil it, it will sit there and boil to death. When conditions deteriorate gradually, we adapt to conditions instead of getting rid of them until we no longer are strong enough to escape. The phenomena can occur in relationships, interactions, and work-related situations. People become complacent and they fail to pay attention to these gradual changes happening around them. Don't get used to it. Everything seems hard right now. The pandemic exposed and accelerated and has accelerated the lack of communication, but also accelerated the need for communication. This was complicated by provincial guidelines and expectations, along with resources, staffing disruptions, and now we have artificial intelligence revolution, and we still are experiencing the lingering effects of the pandemic. The need to increase productivity despite changes around us. People are tired, mental health supports are needed more than ever. In-person communications replaced with virtual conversations, video calls, chat apps, online entertainment. This creates a new normal. Readers are changing habits and getting information online as a skill building support, yet we also have people who will not utilize online opportunities and some who never will. The pandemic has provided customer insights and go back to the basics of communication, the need for human connection. This is the time more than ever that we see that there's a true value of listening, truly understanding, and treating people, regardless of age, and applying this intelligence to communication strategies. There is a rise in civility, a fundamental shift, an increase in homeless, crowding, despair, and confusion, a rising individualism and consumerism, contributing to a decline in civic education. Social fabric requires a mass collaboration and a rebuilding of trust. Municipalities need to be involved in civic education for us, but also our youth. We need civic values to restore democracy in order to build a sustainable future. Now we can say that the pandemic is giving you the opportunity to accelerate digital transformation. The community is now more diverse. The level of understanding, though, is not universal. It's hard for people to know what to trust, and this municipality has the responsibility to provide information in understandable terms and easy to read. Let public know their opinions count. Local flavor is overshadowed by media. So how do we re-engage people? Open house, blogs, the wow presentation to public. You could explore, did you know, or the question of the day. If you re-engage public and provide easy to read information, the emails will slow down. It is time to rethink, redesign, but with empathy. The website for the app, for example, for Oakland-Wawanesa is poorly designed. I'm unable to interact with it. Information is difficult to access or inaccessible. Even for me to speak today, my request to speak as a delegate, the document was, finally I found it, couldn't fill it out. And this information, once I did fill or tried to fill, couldn't send. So it resulted in me sending an email to the municipality. So I asked, how is this all organized? Where could it fit in? And what are the preferred tools of engagement? Is there blog articles? Is there a formal press release? Is there a quick social media update? Is there a reminder to check if accurate and relevant with routine updates? Can you repurpose content? One story can feed content for a page. Repurpose material, keep the wow factor, and the site should be accessible and easily understood. Is there a chance to create learning Padlets or provide links to offer constituents access to government information and the government process? Maybe a fun fact each week or month, or maybe a review of current bylaws or the Municipal Act. I have a free app that my colleagues utilize to integrate information into websites. It's easy to use. A volunteer could enter information for approval for circulation and can also be set to leave messages for the provider in response to an exercise seeking information for that community. The emails, I was sorry to hear one council member state, just hit delete. Time management practices with time of day access and ample response time, the auto message that the email has been received and will be answered in timely fashion. Prioritize the emails, flag the ones with top priority. The use of continuance to find an equilibrium. Benjamin Franklin once said we must all hang together or we hang separately. The latter results in a community suffering, the very community that you all represent. A hierarchy of good governance and the principles is needed. We have no idea what tomorrow will bring, and we still need to plan. This is not a time for self-service, but a time for those in public service and those serving their community. Elected officials, you have core principles, and it consists of fairness, honesty, transparency, respect, accountability, and integrity, along with the ethics and values. Meeting agendas could include each month the indemnity sheets for each councillor with expenses individually itemized and published. We would like to think that municipalities use good governance to spend hard-earned tax dollars. Now, council members know their constituents. We know that many are barely making ends meet. We know that Christmas is a difficult time of year, and we know that the government of Manitoba practices a standard, a policy, a per diem. I have accessed the FIPA and continue to wait for these papers at this time, but I can safely say the Manitoba government allows for $25 per year per employee for staff appreciation. Meantime, our LEC has approved taxpayer money to be spent on employees for gifts, flowers, as indicated for staff, and there's no internal policy. Whatever happened to coworkers collecting funds to purchase a gift as opposed to utilizing the taxpayers' dollars? Meals at Christmas were quite generous. What happened to potluck meals? As it stands now, council can approve any allotment of taxpayer funds for the staff, yet many families are struggling to provide during the holidays. In addition, there is a population that does not celebrate the holiday and their tax dollars providing for Christmas meals and gifts. Then I asked, where's the civic duty of council? Now, this brings me to my final concern, a statement made by Ian McCormick. He said, it's never about what it's about. It's a symptom of something that went wrong years ago and is carried into council. If you address the symptom only, it's only a Band-Aid and will bleed. The real reason requires peeling of the onion, a systemic review of where the organization is at and what is needed to thrive. In this process, you will also find wisdom, wonder, and well-being. Instead of ongoing code of conduct, ongoing threats of litigation, and spending of tax dollars, it appears such an intervention would be best suited to deal with issues. Time spent on these actions to date has created a toxic environment, not just for the elect, but also for the public. This is not specific to this municipality either. Many municipalities in the province of Manitoba alone are experiencing this very same issue. A psychologist can be accessed to assess needs, prescribe strategies, and this can be done utilizing resources available through the council, through the Employees Assistance Program, or through the Association of Manitoba Municipalities, or known as AMM, their program Together All, which can be a great source for a healthy recovery and not a cost to the taxpayer. By participating in assessment and learning new strategies to thrive, it would save taxpayers thousands of dollars. To date, each council member is approved to obtain $3,000 for legal advice. A code of conduct requires a third-party assessment with a fee of approximately $400 to $500. Then if it's explored to go further to achieve a resolution or a retainer would have to be obtained, and that's as high as $15,000, followed by other fees for litigation, which can carry on for years. This will bring more cuts for services and or increases for taxes due to a toxic environment. And as taxpayers, we are and will be tapped out. Dr. Ann Faraday once said, every day life confronts us with new problems to be solved, which force us to adjust our old programs accordingly. In closing, I invite all of council to read the book, Who's Driving the Grader? It's written by Ian McCormick. And he is also in the process of completing his next book on code of conduct. And this will be titled and ready by years. He is also available for my presentations as he works closely with the AMM. And I know this municipality is capable of great things. And I know it could set an example or it can lead by example. And that's all I have for today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions, council? Okay, thank you very much. Be resolved, a presentation by Patricia Warburton related to age of acceleration, richness of digital connections while ensuring the vitality of democracy be received. Please move that, Councilor Holmes, seconder, Councilor McGregor. Discussion? All in favor?
In favor.
Okay, we'll go to communications.
Okay, under the order of communications, council has received information from Age Friendly Manitoba, their February newsletter. The Association of Manitoba Land Surveyors sent their survey information. Association of Manitoba Municipalities sent information dated January the 16th, the 19th, the 23rd. There were 2 on February the 1st, 2 on February the 2nd, 2 on February the 5th, 1 on February the 9th, and 1 on February the 12th. Brandon University sent out information on mental health on the Prairies Conference. Central Assiniboine Watershed District sent out information on their 2024 contribution amounts. Community Futures provided information on community spaces funding for the Federated Co-op, and they also had information on the designation of business program. EcoFit Corporation sent out information on their small business program. This one involved LED lighting and insulation upgrades. Federation of Canadian Municipalities sent communiques dated January the 15th, 22nd, 29th, February 5th, and February the 12th. Guardian Fencing Limited sent information on fencing solutions. The Hudson Bay Route Association sent out their annual report. MP Larry McGuire sent out information related to Bill C-321. Manitoba Communities in Bloom sent out information on their 2024 program. Manitoba Giant Growers Association sent information on Giant Pumpkin Growers Seminar. The Manitoba Good Roads Association sent information in February 2024. Manitoba Municipal and Northern Relations sent out information on payments in lieu of tax. Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure sent information on emergency management workshops. Manitoba Weed Supervisors Association sent out information on their meeting being held March the 13th. And I would note that our Weed Inspector Councillor Hatch, as well as our Public Works Manager, will be attending that meeting. Municipal and Northern Relations sent out Bulletin 2024-01 related to school and health tax exemptions. They also sent out Bulletin number 03, which was the 2024 aggregate fees. Municipal World Daily sent out information on February the 7th and February the 14th. Prairie Mountain Health sent out information on their donation list. Public Utilities Board sent out their Volume 4 newsletter. Recreation Manitoba 2024 Facility Award. The Wawanesa District Recreation Center received that award. Rural Development Institute sent out their February 2024 newsletter. Southwest Horizons sent out information on their AGM and their public budget contribution. And Truth Green Metal Recycling sent out an introduction to their company.
Be resolved that the above noted communications be received. Move that, please. Councillor Jones, seconder. Councillor Fisher. Discussion. All in favor?
In favor.
Okay, we're going to committee reports, starting with Councillor Fisher. You have a written report. Anything to follow up?
I did send in a couple of additions.
I think they were listed.
Okay, good. All right. Councillor Jones, you have a written report. Anything further?
No.
Councillor Hatch, you have a written report. Anything further to add?
Nothing further to add.
Councillor Rome, you have a written report. Anything further to add?
Nothing further.
Councillor McGregor, you have a written report. Anything to add to it?
Nothing for, a Ward 1 report, but I would just remind councillors that we're looking for feedback for the CAO performance evaluation. So if you have feedback, please get that submitted.
Yeah. Councillor McDonald, you have a written report. Anything to add?
The only thing I'd like to add is, Mr. Chairman, is I've received a lot of compliments to our grader operators and our public works officer of what they did to the roads after they got so icy, and I've heard lots of good things, so it was great to see them do it. Thank you.
Okay, my written report, nothing to add to it. CAO's report, anything to add?
Nothing further.
On to the finance report, anything to add?
Nothing further.
Public works, you have anything to add to your report?
Nothing further.
Fire chief report is there. Okay, so be it resolved that the verbal and written reports be received. I'm going to move that. Councillor Jones, second to Councillor McGregor. All in favor?
In favor.
Okay, bylaws, we have nothing there. In unfinished business, we have the heavy haul restrictions. Be it resolved that the council's resolution conducted electronically on February 6, 2024, with respect to heavy haul restrictions be confirmed. I'm going to move that, please. Councillor Worm, seconder. Councillor McDonald, discussion. Councillor McGregor.
Mr. Chairman, I think when we passed that, there was sort of in place until today, right?
Correct.
So we need to have discussion on extending that. Do we want whether we're extending?
If I could, through you,
Sure.
as the Highway Traffic Act requires the motion of council, and it has to include kind of the start and end date. I am wondering whether or not council might consider delegating that authority to the Public Works Manager. When we put this one in place, the long-range forecast was that it was going to stay mild. And for that reason, we kept it on until today, at which time council could reconsider it. In the interim, of course, it turned cold and the roads hardened back up, and they probably would have been passable, but we had the resolution on the table till today. If it is something that council would like the Public Works Manager to do once she has had notification to council that the restrictions are going on, or that she believes the restrictions should come off, we would need a motion to do that.
A separate motion on the amendment.
I would think that we would want a separate motion on that one.
Okay, so we'll deal with this one then. This is one that we went through electronically, so all in favor
In favor.
and further resolution, did you have that?
Well, I have be it resolved that the authority to implement heavy road or heavy haul restrictions be delegated to the manager of public works following notification to council. So council would be aware that the situation was such that we believed restrictions were required. Conversation as to how long we believe they needed to be in place for, at which time we could make that known, and then also make it known when it's coming off.
Okay, somebody wish to move that? Councilor McGregor, second Councilor Jones. Further discussion?
I've just got a quick question about the boundary roads. I know with like Cornwallis, they have the road restriction on with our boundary road. So I'm just wondering, there could be possible confusion between the heavy haulers going down the boundary road.
And that would be something then for us to,
Clarification.
yeah, to notice. We were looking to put it on as to what the other municipalities either already had in place, or if they were at least notified that we were putting it in place.
Any further? All in favor?
In favor.
Okay, be it resolved, the council's response to the building capacity for community participation report be received and posted on the municipal website. I'm going to move that. Councilor McGregor, seconder. Councilor Jones, discussion? All in favor?
In favor.
Okay, under general business, we have be it resolved that the request for Sun Valley Land on behalf of Enbridge Pipelines Incorporated dated January 22nd, 2024, for an extension to blanket crossing and approach agreement to December 31st, 2025, under the same terms and conditions of the original agreement be approved. I'm going to move that. Councilor Rowe, seconder. Councilor Jones, discussion. All in favor?
In favor.
Be it resolved that a letter of support be provided to the Souris River Recreation Commission in its efforts to change its name to Oakland-Wawanesa Parks and Recreation. Somebody move that. Councilor Fisher, seconder. Councilor McDonald, discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I can speak to this, to provide some background. This change has been contemplated by the board for quite a while. There are very regular issues with the name causing confusion with the town of Souris. So we have instances every year of people registering for swimming lessons here and then being very concerned to find out that they are registered in Wawanesa and not in Souris. We have shipments that are supposed to come here that are going to Souris. So the attempt here is to provide a bit more clarity for vendors and users and and everyone of where the Recreation Commission is sort of based.
Makes sense to me.
Further? All in favor?
In favor.
Thank you. Okay, be resolved that boundary road agreements be entered into with the adjacent municipalities of Cornwallis, Glenboro South Cypress, Grasslands, Prairie Lakes, and Souris Glenwood. Need to move that. Counselor Jones, seconder Counselor Rome, discussion. Counselor McDonald?
Oh, Mr. Chairman, when I was reading through that, I just had a question of, it comes to graveling, and I'm sure, I think I know, but I just want to confirm. If they're looking after the road, for example, Cornwallis, are they graveling it, or if they're dragging it, or what is it? I just,
Okay, sorry. All right, through the chair. The draft agreement was sent around to all the communities. I have had feedback from Glenboro, where they have indicated that on their roads, they do the graveling and the grading in the summer. And the Municipality of Oakland-Wawanesa does the snow clearing. So that would be updated in their agreement. Also, Souris has indicated that they do the grading and we supply the gravel. So that will be included in their agreement as well.
so, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, so once you get through all this, can I do, or can we just have, update of who's doing what, just so we know?
Yeah, the agreement I'll make sure to send back as we get the finals approved.
Yeah, once it's done. Thank you very
And
much. Just-
I do know that Cornwallis and Souris had already included this on their agendas for this month.
Mhm.
I haven't heard back from them yet as to what their discussion or their council's resolutions were. I haven't heard, like I say, I heard from CAO in Glenboro. I haven't heard Prairie Lakes or Grasslands.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'm just trying to look quickly at the agreement here. The issue that Councillor Jones raises around the restrictions, should that be
Yes,
covered?
yeah, I will include that.
Because in theory, their Cornwall's police officer could enforce those bylaws, correct?
Yes, I believe he's got the authority to do the
Yeah.
restrictions.
Can he, sorry, Mr. Chair, could he come into our municipality?
Yeah, he's licensed for the province. I
Okay.
remember that when we had some questions, I think a year or two ago about getting speeding tickets.
Well, I know he's been giving speeding tickets on number 10.
Yeah, we checked that out and he's licensed throughout the province. Okay, all in favor?
In favor.
Be it resolved that the unaudited financial statements for the year ending December 31st, 2023 be approved as circulated. Move that. Councilor McGregor, seconder. Councilor Fisher, discussion. All in favor?
In favor.
Be it resolved that the 2024 draft budget from the administration be received, and further be resolved that a public hearing be held March 20th, 2024 at,
Time to be determined by council.
okay, to receive the representations. Somebody move that? Councilor Jones, seconder.
Do you want to move on with the time inserted or?
Let's
We'll-
see.
And then it's been seconded, so discussion. I'll get into time.
I would. For every other public hearing that we've had on the draft budget or on the finance plan, we've held it at 6:30. Last time has been in the council chamber. I'm assuming that is what council would like again. Councillor Rome, you had sent in an email suggesting a time of 4:30, but I think you were thinking of today's meeting versus the public hearing.
Yeah, no, I wasn't referring to the public hearing. No. I would, just further to that, I would suggest that we look at 7 to allow people time to get home from work and.
Okay. 7 PM. Any further? I'll vote all in favor?
In favor.
Okay, be it resolved that this regular meeting now adjourns to an to discuss matters as per subsections 152, 3B3, 4, and 5 of the Municipal Act. And all matters discussed in camera are confidential until discussed in an open meeting as per section 83, 1D of the Municipal Act. Somebody move that, please. Jones, seconder. Counselor Fisher, all in favor?
In favor.
Thank you.
He mentioned, parking.
Oh, yeah, grass noise, I think.
Okay, be it resolved that this in-camera meeting does now resume back to a regular meeting. Move that, please. Counselor Jones, second. Counselor McGregor, all in favor?
In favor.
Okay, be it resolved that the offered purchase from Noel Jean Lagarde, as outlined in his correspondence dated January 31st, 2024, for lot 22, block 5, plan 63, BLTO, located in Nesbit, Manitoba, the amount of $1,200 be accepted, subject to the purchaser covering the respective closing costs for the purchase. So we move that. Counselor Jones, second. Counselor Fisher,
In favor.
Be resolved that the bid of Nick Chudley for the office desk and boardroom table in the amount of $690 be accepted. Let me move that, please. Counselor McDonald, second. Counselor Fisher, all in favor?
In favor.
Be it resolved that the October 1st to December 31st, 2023 RCMP policing report as previously distributed be received. Let me move that, please. Counselor Jones, second. Counselor McGregor, discussion. All in favor?
In favor.
Be it resolved that a letter be sent to the Green Acres colony that animal control bylaw must be enforced for all residents. So we move that, please. Counselor McDonald, seconder. Counselor McGregor, all in favor?
In favor.
Okay. Be it resolved that the 2-year employment agreement be entered into with Joni Swednicki as previously circulated. Counselor McGregor to move it. Seconder is Counselor Fisher. All in favor?
In favor.
Okay. Be it resolved that a request for compensation for damages from frozen water lines at 410 7th Street from Mr. Hebert be tabled pending information from the utility contractor on the issue and an estimate of damages from the property owner. Somebody move that. Counselor Jones, seconder. Counselor McDonald, all in favor?
In favor.
Okay. We're good.
Adjournment.
It resolved that this meeting is now adjourned to meet again on March 19th, 2024 at 9 a.m. at the municipal office in Wawanesa. Move that, please. Counselor Jones, seconder. Counselor McGregor, all in favor?
In favor.
Thank you, Counselor Hatch, for being with us today from Mexico.
Hey, we'll see you soon. Bye.